Don, Chelsea, you lost again. Talk to us.
What can I say, Terry, man? What can I say? I said to you when we done the show, the breakfast show and that on Rumble, that I wasn't confident for this game, man, because the past month since the international break, bro, I've seen a big drop-off in performances, man. Big drop-off in performances. And the same recurring problems I've been speaking about with POCH and the players, you know, they're coming up. They're coming up a lot, you know. The game against Everton, bro, you know, we were playing better than what we did against United, to be fair. But in that final third, we just weren't good enough. We were lacking ideas. The only person that was trying to do anything really was Mudryk. And I saw your monologue that you were saying about Mudryk and Antony. I'm sorry, I've got to disagree with that, Terry, man. Mudryk was the only threatening player in that game. He created about 5 chances. If we had a better striker, some of those chances that he was plating up, we buried them. Do you know what I'm saying? I think that was one of his best performances in the Chelsea top. You know, you had Enzo running about in a 10 role. I don't understand. Gallagher in the pivot. You know, these are little things that are on Pochettino, man. So it wasn't a good enough performance, man, because again, in that final third, we were lacking that creativity. And again, like I said, we were missing a striker, you know, missing someone clinical when we had the chances to finish off the game. And Everton, their game plan worked. They sat off of us and they got us in the transition. So it was just another poor performance, man. But I've got to look at the team. The confidence is on the floor right now. Confidence is on the floor right now. And a big part of that is Pochettino constantly playing man out of position. Like I said, the past month, he's been atrocious. The Newcastle game, no one played well. The United game, no one played well. I have to look at the manager. Like Mo said earlier, when multiple players aren't performing, you've got to look at the manager, bro. You have to look at the manager. Do you know what I'm saying? So for me right now, like I said, Poch is on strike 1. And if he loses against Sheffield, bro, he's got to go after that. I'll be real with you, bro. He's got to go after that because we can't be sitting where we are right now in 12th, whatever it is. We're not even asking to be winning the league right now. All we're asking is to be in and around Europe. Do you know what I mean? And the guy's got us in the bottom half of the table. It's not good enough, Terry. It's really not. We've got 1 game a week. We spent all this money. And to have us where we are right now, it's unacceptable, man. It's unacceptable. So I'm looking at Pochettino a lot right now. Do you know what I mean? It's coming up with more excuses again about buying players and whatnot. I agree with that. That yes, the owners should have got more experience. But honestly, you know what you walked into, bro. You walked into this job. They told you that these are the players you're going to be working with. And you're not helping them. You are not helping them. And like I said to you the other day, he'll continuously play people out of position. Why am I seeing Gallagher in the pivot again at Enzo in the 10? Why am I seeing Enzo overlapping the left back? Enzo Fernandez, a guy who's meant to be dictating the game, is running around, sweating. The guy was dripping in sweat because of how much running he was doing. That's not Enzo's game. So it takes me back to the point I said the other day. The guy's got the players. He's got enough quality in this team. He's using them incorrectly. Bruv. It's not good enough. So I've lost my confidence in the team right now, innit? And a big part of that is how Poch has been moving. Yeah, I said strike 1 after we lost to United.
But there is no strike 1. If once my team go below the top half of the table, you should get sacked. I believe the players have potential. I believe your players like Enzo, Caicedo, Badiashile. You know I'm a big fan of Badiashile. There's a lot of Malo Gusto, even like Cole Palmer, all these players, they have potential. And I said that maybe you get the right coach. And I thought Pochettino would be the right coach. But I'm sorry, you're telling me now, strike one, you're telling me there are 2 more strikes for him to be out.
No, I literally just said if he loses to Sheffield, he has to go. He has to go, bro.
Okay, Don. Fiorentina in Serie A, Real Sociedad in La Liga, and I'm giving you mediocre teams, not like Chelsea Football Club who spend a lot of money. Bottom half of the table, the day that you hit that bottom half of the table, he should be sacked in the tunnel. And I don't care about anything because you have players. It's not that you don't. Yes, you have Nkunku injured, you have this injured. Bottom half of the table. If Man United, Chelsea, Spurs, and I can name teams, hit bottom half of the table that day, he should get sacked. He should at least be like, now you're getting sacked today, and he should present a plan because you have potential. You have players to win games. You're not winning games, Don.
Exactly. This is my point, Mo. This is my point.
But I see half the fan base. Sorry. There is half the fan base. And listen, we only measure by the fan base on Twitter, on YouTube, the people we see, right? Still saying it's a process. And they keep saying, I had someone on the show yesterday, send the super chat telling me, but Fergie didn't win until this year. Jurgen Klopp didn't win. Are you joking? Are you joking? You're sitting at 12th. It should be the whole fan base should be saying he should get sacked today and get somebody else because there's a lot of potential. He's wasting it. He is wasting the potential.
He is, and that's the problem that I've got, Mo. He's not using his players correctly right now. He's not. He's really not.
I was wrong about him, to be honest.
Can I-
So was I. So was I, bro. So was
Can I
I.
throw a question out? Can I throw a question out to the panel here? We'll come to Poch in a minute. You said, how low are the standards at Chelsea if Mykhailo Mudryk was looked at as having a good performance yesterday?
On the floor, Terry. On the floor, man. Yeah, I mean, this is a team that if Everton had not got the points deduction, would be sitting in 13th position. And they're there on goal difference, man. You know, with Wolves and Bournemouth. This is unacceptable, man. You know, I can't believe that the whole Chelsea fan base isn't up in arms, man. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. And
Right.
Don, I can't believe you're still giving him another game, man. This guy, yeah, Pochettino, I don't rate him at all. I don't get why people rate him. What's he ever done in the game? People talk about, oh, yeah, he's good with young players. Right? And? Do you get a trophy for that? No. He's not done anything. You know what I mean? Went to PSG. Didn't do particularly well there. You know what I mean? Left after 18 months or whatever it was. You know, won a league and a French Cup. Didn't win nothing at Spurs. I mean, I just don't see... I don't get the hype. And ultimately, this guy's not the manager. He's not the right man for Chelsea Football Club. Chelsea are 12th on goal difference. He needs to go, man. He needs to go. I think you need a more authoritarian manager to go in there. But it's whether or not the board will accept that. You know what I mean? Because for me, I think they need a manager to go in there and say it's my way or the highway. And I don't know if the board's going to accept that. Because I think they want a bit of a yes man. And Pochettino comes across to me as a bit of a yes man, in my opinion. I think we need to get real, man. They spent £1 billion and they're sitting in 12th position. That is unacceptable. Unacceptable.
I want to speak about a certain individual, which is your captain, right? Because I've streamed you many times. You always say you don't involve him into conversations because he's never available. But I see Reece James as our Thiago. The talent is undeniable on his day, but he's never there. And I was only aware of this earlier in a stream I'd done. He's very arrogant and idiotic, to be fair, because apparently he's refusing the surgery he needs for his hamstring. Because we all know hamstring's a reoccurring injury. It will never get better until you get that surgery. And even once you get that surgery, it can go again. When do you pull the plug? When do you just say, you know what, undeniable talent, but we need to sell him? Because I think the right thing for you to do would be to sell him, honestly. Because he doesn't play. Let's have it right. He just does not play.
Yeah. Listen, with Reece James, it's a sticky situation, man, because I have to look at how the club have managed him over the years. Like, this guy broke through as a right back. You know, we changed to a back five. We're playing him as a right wing back. Well, back three even. We're playing him as a right wing back. You guys can see that Reece James is a big guy. Do you know what I mean? And if he's running up and down the way he is constantly, he's gonna get injured eventually. You know, the midfield was completely neglected. We had no creativity in there since Fabregas got sold. So all our creativity was coming from him and Ben Chilwell. And now that is detrimental to his health because, as you can see, he was overplayed, bro. Up and down, running up and down like that. And I think that played a big part in his injuries right now. We had no backup for him. We had Azpilicueta on his last legs. Do you know what I'm saying? So for me, how I kind of looked at this season was like, listen, we've got Gusto in. At least that will help him manage his minutes. Some games he doesn't have to start. Some games he ain't got to play 90 minutes. But again, he keeps breaking down. So boy, I just have to look at the whole season and how his fitness gets on, man. It's not good enough. You know, we're not in a good position right now. But at the same time, we do have Gusto, so I'm not panicking too much because I do think he's a good player. But Reece James, bro, like
on his injury record, Don,
unbelievable.
Looking at it here, he's had 18 injuries in the last 4 seasons, and in the last 3 seasons, he's had 7 hamstring problems, including this one. And for me, the player that always stands out, 2 players stand out in my head when I think of hamstring injuries this young, this consistently: Michael Owen and Fernando Torres. And there comes a point where they have he's going to have one soon. Body's going to be done. I know that medicine's better nowadays, and I know that it's easier to recover than it was when those players were younger 15, 20 years ago. But there's only so many times that hamstring can go. There's only so many games you can miss as a youngster developing. Before I tweeted this about a year ago, and I said, I'm not ability-wise, he's there. I think you guys have got to sell Reece James, cash in on him while the stock is still high, and invest in I just don't personally see his body getting better. I don't see him becoming a more resilient player and being able to play. And again, I look at my club and the mismanagement. Luke Shaw, I don't think he's as talented as Reece James, but another injury-prone player that we have just stuck with for a decade, who we should have cashed in on after he got back from his leg. We probably should have sold him before his leg break, but then a year or so after, we should have got rid of him. But we haven't. We persevered, and again this year, another injury. He's never going to get to the level we thought he would get to 10 years ago. Reece James is even better than him technically, but his body's going to let him down. And I think you're right in terms of mismanagement. The mismanagement is keeping him because playing at this level and the ferocity that it takes to play for a big club, his body just isn't up to it, mate. His hamstrings are like Amir Khan's jaw, bruv. They're always going to go. They're always going to let you down.
Yeah. But you know what? I think some of the blame has to be on James. Because yes, he's been mismanaged, but you just have to have a level of arrogance to refuse surgery. I'm not saying it's going to be a guarantee he has the surgery and he will never get injured again, but it will put him in better stead. I don't know, because I'm hearing it was a couple of years ago he got offered this surgery and he was still rejecting it. I think as a Chelsea, if you're a Chelsea fan, you should be annoyed at him as well. Yes, he's been mismanaged, but that arrogant, you can't be that. Yeah. Especially the most common reoccurring injury as well. You don't come back from them. For me, he's just being an idiot. I'm gonna say it straight. He's being an idiot.
He's not fit enough to play 90 minutes. That's why this season I've said, look, do you know what? Yeah, let's see how he gets on. Now he's got a guy like Augusto in reserve that can come in and help him out a bit, like I said, and share the minutes with him. But already now, first game of the season against Liverpool, he went missing for 2-3 months. Came back again, picked up a little knock the other day against United, couldn't start the game. Do you know what I mean? This is messing up what Poch is trying to do. At the same time, I understand that Poch has been messing up with the lineups and that, yeah. But the other day, you know, I think we would have played better if we had Reece James the whole game. Do you know what I mean? What happens is Reece James comes on, he puts Levi at left back again, and it's the same problems. It's the same problems again, Terry. So yeah, man, it's looking long for Reece, man. If we sell him, I wouldn't argue.
That's another howler Pochettino's had, because yes, he's come through the ranks and that, but why give your captaincy to a player that's hardly available?
I said this in the summer, bro. I said this in the summer.
That's on Poch. That's on Poch.
Bro, he gave the captaincy to Reece James and he gave the vice captaincy to Ben Chilwell, bro. These guys are both, they're mainly in the injury room than they are on the pitch.
You said that, Don, and I remember Surfer saying the same thing. He was like, the first thing I said when I saw who the captain and the vice captain was, I was like, who's the third captain? Because as a Chelsea fan, he knows those two are never available. And you just made a very good point, and I'm going to give you credit for that. You just said you can't build something consistent on a right back who's never available, let alone your captain. If your captain is never available, how can you build consistency? A team can't be consistent with inconsistent players, whether that's down to form or down to fitness. If you're not fit, you can't be on the pitch. I can't build something. And if you remember, Don, I said it earlier in the season. I think it was maybe right after the Liverpool game when he got injured. I said you guys will eventually get over James because you have a backup right back who will eventually become the starter. And look at us now. 3 months later, he's getting his third injury, second or third injury. He's about to be out for a while again. Season, and you guys are actually I see your fan base is starting to or stopping to defend him now because you guys are getting frustrated. You're like, okay, this has happened way too many times. I can't make too many excuses for you. Eventually, I need to move on from this. I need to move on and start building something with this team, building consistencies. And I can't have an inconsistent player being a part of it, even though he came through the ranks from Chelsea and all that. And I know you guys love an academy player. Everyone does. But you really can't rely on someone who can't stay fit. When I said the stat the other week that he hasn't played 3 games in a row since 2021, people laughed at me. Look at us again. He still hasn't played 3 in a row since I said that. And he's about to be out for I don't know how long. So, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but they're going to have to – you guys are going to have to –
doing what Man United fans did with Martial, just honestly. To be honest,
Martial got injured very late in his career, though.
No, but when I mean stuff like over the past 2 years, I've seen a lot of Man United fans.
That I hear.
Martial propped. Oh my God, we can't wait for him to come back, bro. Just give it a rest. You know what? It's done. It's over, bro. Just give it a rest. Rely on someone else. The problem with Chelsea fans have had this over, but I'm not gonna say Don or anybody, but to be honest, a lot of Chelsea fans and Don knows people that when Reece James comes back, we'll do this. When he comes back, we'll be this team. I'm like, bro, you know he's going to come back. He's going to get injured. Move on. But a lot of Man United fans didn't want to move on until Martial now is not renewing the contract. A lot of Chelsea fans aren't moving on from the Reece James train until it's just gonna go away. But you have to move on because you keep putting effort and cheering for him, and he's not available. He's maybe a good player with good talent. I've seen hundreds of talented players that, sorry, for circumstances, their career they didn't fulfill their potential for whatever reason.
Listen, football's a team game, man, and we can't depend on it, man. It's like work, bro. If your colleague's always calling in sick, it's gonna get annoying. You know what I'm saying? You need everyone there to work as a team. And like I said the other day, I'm not saying that we lost the game because Reece James got injured, but he's a key player. He helps us with how we play. Do you know what I mean? Going forward and backwards as well. So it's detrimental to us now, innit? We need to. Something needs to get done. Whether he gets that surgery or he gets sold in the summer, I can't defend it because, like I've been saying for time, he's not in conversations anymore. He's not until he proves his fitness.
And this is where your club needs to just act like a club and be ruthless and stop treating players like they're victims. These aren't victim things. Go and buy a right back and just move him on and say, well, you're not going to get played. Your body ain't good enough. Be ruthless about it. You know, there needs to be so much more of that at clubs like Man United, clubs like Chelsea. You just need to be ruthless with these players. There's this weird, I kind of get it in the normal working class world. You know, if you're off work for a few weeks because you had an accident and they replace you at work, that'd be a madness because people need to pay their bills. These are multi-million-pound millionaire football players who will find work elsewhere at this level. Do you get one? You're not talking about League Two players. If they're not getting paid, literally they can't pay their bills. It's crazy, this mindset. Oh, we can't bring someone else in. What about the development of him? What about the development of your fucking football club, bruv? It's the football club should always come first. And I just feel like in 2023, and ironically, it's the clubs that are failing whose fan bases get attached to players as opposed to the football club.
Yeah.
And I find Arsenal went through it and they're just starting to come out of it. You don't see any real player versus player fights at Arsenal. You see barely any at Man City. You've not really had them at Liverpool until they've fallen off a little bit. The only clubs that have done it in recent years is Man United. Spurs have done it a little in the last few years. And Chelsea, why? Because they're all shit. Clubs create shit fan bases.
You know, it is a Terry. You've got.
I'm not outside of that. I'm involved in it as well. And I look at it and just goes, oh, got to stop. We do have clubs bidding for us. It's ridiculous. Stop defending Crocs at your club. Stop defending players that aren't good enough. Stop defending players that are crying because, oh, you've only just bought me. Why have you bought him as well? Fuck off. Get out of my club, you weak little runt.
You've got a part of the fan base that think if he gets sold, like miraculously, he's just going to not have these injuries anymore. You know what I mean? I think it's past that point with him now. I think injuries are part of him now. It's like a Jack Wilshere situation. It's a part of him now. I've accepted it. I've accepted it for a while. This is why I'm just like, I'm over it now. And I'm happy that we've got Gusto. You know what I mean? So whatever happens to Reece, if he gets sold, I'm not arguing it.
It happened a little bit at Man United with Owen Hargreaves. Obviously, he done his knees, and we were waiting for him to come back. And he had a shock performance, started once out of the blue against Wolves. Ironically, it was the famous day where Bebe made his debut because he started on the right, Owen Hargreaves, and within 6 minutes he pulled his hamstring and had to come off, right? And Bebe came on. I was there that day, and I remember when we let him go and then he went to City, there's a few United fans that were fuming. Oh, he's going to come good there, going to get back to them levels. I know he scored a good goal there once, but he never was. It was like, no, just give it up. He's done. He's absolutely finished, you know? And I'm not saying Reece James is completely done, completely finished, but you can't have that many hamstring injuries.
Player as well.